All right, GBA Nation, welcome back. We are another edition of GBA Live, coming here today in the afternoon today. I'm going to be joined here with Jeff Ferguson, owner of GBA Basketball. Tom Strasser will be joining us as well, GBA longtime staff member. And we're also going to be joined special guest Tim Minich is going to be joining us today to talk a little hoops. Tim is the director of the High Stars Elite Program down there in the Dayton area, and he's also the head girls varsity coach at Yellow Springs High School. So, Jeff, can you hear me right now?
Yep, I'm good. Just doing a few things there.
Okay, I know Tommy said he's having a little technical difficulties with his internet there, so I'm going to go ahead and bring Tim on here, and then when Tommy gets connected, we'll add him in. So, all right, Tim, can you hear us?
Yeah, man, I can hear you. How you guys doing?
Good, Tim. Ciao, man.
What's up, Jeff? Nothing. Just waiting for this thing to straighten up a little bit for us.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Before. Crazy.
So, how are you and your family doing?
We're doing well. We've got I got both my 24 and 20-year-old who both coach with me, still here at home, and then my wife and my mother or my mom, 85-year-old mom. We got them all shacked up here. We're good.
Yep, good. It's very good to hear. I know, everyone's same way here. I said, Jeff and I live across the street from each other, but we don't see. The only time we see each other is on here on the videos, or if we're standing in the driveway. So it's kind of weird to be at home this time of year.
Yes, it is.
So talking about this is the quarantine. It's all new to everybody else. So how are you and the family just kind of getting through the days and spending time?
Well, for a while there, we were trying to shoot as many TikTok videos as we could at night and try to keep things light. I mean, you can only, do so much within the confines. I actually run an asphalt and concrete company, and I have an office that I can go to that's just me.
Sure.
And I have a shop next to it that's a mechanic. So we can kind of converse back and forth over the phone on what we're fixing for the season. It's kind of weird. So I've at least been able to get out, into my office with, again, no other employees there a little bit. But these guys I've never seen them do so much walking and different things. Done a lot of game planning on the basketball side, though, on the second side for us going into, first we're going into the high school season next year, but also, coordinating with, both these guys coach, for our elite program. So kind of coordinating with them on, where we're headed, time frame wise. And it kind of helps. We've got a little link with our athletic director on the OSHA side on what they're going to do for us in the summer, if anything, as well, how they're going to change things. And we're kind of keeping an eye on both of them. So we talk about it at least a couple times a week. He's got teams, players, kids that are chomping at the bit to get in the gym.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, Jeff can speak on this a little bit too, but that's all we can do at this point is just kind of plan. And Jeff, you can kind of elaborate on that a little bit more, but just kind of how we've been, moving forward and spending our days.
Yeah, just talking. Matter of fact, we talked last week, Tim, just about, wondering what's going on with the OHSAA. I don't know if everybody knows, but you're the head coach of a high school program as well.
Yep.
And so you're trying to juggle two, with the AAU season and then your school season. So, and we're doing the same thing, trying to decide how we're going to move on with the GBA season. Do we play in June and July? What do we do? And you guys, have you heard anything from the OHSAA at all regarding?
I have not officially. I talked to my AD a little bit and a few other high school coaches and other AAU coaches as well. And, the way it seems to us it's going to, work out with school's not going to be back in session this year. I think that's pretty much a given. I don't think they're going to go ahead and do anything. I don't think until we get to fall sports, in my opinion, August at the earliest for football and those sports. I don't think, they're going to try to do anything in the summer. I'm not going to condone workouts. I don't think at this point, for June. I'm thinking that's going to all get pushed back is kind of where a lot of us are thinking. But no,
that's kind of what we was talking. I actually talked with a high school coach yesterday. I mean, he had mentioned maybe trying to do something together, because a lot of these the colleges are shut down until July. So, at least July. So it's going to run into a lot of the shootouts and the camps and stuff that some of you guys would take your teams to are not going to happen. So,
Yeah, the team camps, we're not getting anything as far as emails go, cancellations, nor are we getting requests to come to team camp. So, like you said, the college coaches I've talked to, they're suspended everything in their facilities until July. So obviously the June stuff is out the window, which is going to budgetly hurt them, obviously. But so I would imagine they're going to try to recoup some of that at some point.
yeah, who would have thought last year at this time, if we would have talked and said the whole next season would be shut down, no state tournament, no NCAA March Madness, no nothing. Crazy.
Nobody would have believed that, man. Not in a million years.
No. And this, I tell everyone this, in 20 years we've been doing this in the gym this time of the year on the weekends and throughout the week getting ready to go play. And it's a very odd feeling to be stuck at home this time of the year for us.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what makes it, it would even be worse right now, though, John, if it was 70 degrees and sunny outside, man. It would even be worse. It'd even be worse. I hope the sun, I want to see it, but man, that's going to make the stir crazy part of it even worse, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, on the golf courses, our local golf course here is closed. So even like you said, if it's nice and you can't even get out and play golf, that makes it even worse.
Yeah. A few of them are open here. My son's been out there playing in this cold weather, but I'm not going out in this.
Yeah, exactly. Tommy, I see you joined us. We appreciate you. I know you were having a little technical difficulties there.
Yeah, had some connection issues on this end.
That's
All
a story of his life.
Yeah. But
So,
Jeff, you've been able to stay in contact with your players?
Are you talking to me, Tommy?
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a good line both on the spring season, Ohio Elite team. We've gotten not in contact with the coaches, but my coaches here in home, stay in contact with their players. Put a couple highlight videos out, off huddle. We'll spend some time doing that for some of our kids, and for the high school side, certainly been in touch with them. Just making sure everybody's morale's up, and just being there for these younger folks, to kind of mentor them a little bit through this. Though none of us have been there, we can at least help them get through it.
Yeah. How did your tryouts go? Was you able to have tryouts at least for the younger teams this year and get them started at least anyway?
We actually got everything. We had our tryouts in all the way through, and actually added a high school team of just from the trial only, a full team with no players coming back really. We started, you can start those tryouts in the younger grades, late February, and then just kind of eased into it. But yeah, we got all our tryouts in. Now that's on the girls' side, obviously. The boys' side a little different, but on the girls' side, we got everything in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I know us talking to some groups, and I'm sure your groups are the same way. If we are, whenever this is lifted and we're able to get back in the gym, I know the kids and even the coaches are kind of chomping at the bit to get back and playing.
Well, I tell you what I look at, if they push everything back a little bit, even on the OSHA side, I wouldn't be surprised if they, push that non-touch time back into, school almost. We'll get more basketball closer to season, rather than
Right.
having to break late. In other words, we get going a couple months in high school, then we got to stop for June and then go back in July, right? So I feel like this allows us to go straight through, which to me would be a better model anyway if they had that period in August and let us run, the exposure events all the way through. But again, I know that's not my call, but for us, it'll get our kids closer to season basketball,
Exactly. And they would be ready to go and play. And, 15 years ago, we used to have a fall schedule. Believe it or not, we ran 4 or 5 weekends of fall tournaments. Now, it was nothing like the springtime with the GBA. That was before we was even called GBA. Back in like 2000, I think, 1999, 2000, 2001. We did, and we would have 30 teams a weekend playing. excuse me, and then they would go right into their, into their season. We would stop like a week or two early, and then they would go right into their seasons after that.
And as a coach, man, I would love to see that. Like, I would love to see my kids on the court, getting the practice, skill development, just the game development, like right before we start. They'd be, because, you get that break and they, part of the skills that we gained all summer, we have a month, 2 months off, we've lost some of that. So to me, man, playing right to it would be great.
Yeah. Plus they would be, at least fairly in shape coming right in the season instead of spending those first few weeks trying to get them ready.
Well, yeah, it's more like when you go from one sport to the other is what we really run into. They're in volleyball mode. We're at a little school, so everybody plays. We got kids playing 2 sports at the same time. So they're in soccer and volleyball mode, and it takes, they lose in the tournament and they're upset. So it takes a week till we get them really back into basketball mode, So, yeah, I mean, the whole thing's going to be different for all of us, but, we just try to spin it on the positive side. Like, look, maybe it'll get us condensed season where we're playing 7 weekends straight, like, versus taking time off. I don't know.
Tim,
Right.
Most people got their school basketball seasons in, but for the kids that play spring sports, especially any seniors that lost their senior year, with softball, track, baseball, so forth, did you have to kind of be a counselor to them? Because, for a kid, that's tough, to see your senior season, literally go down the drain like that.
Yeah, I mean, try to, a lot of our coaches, they think after their junior year, like they're not our kids anymore, right? But truly, they are our kids. They're all our kids, and we coach. My daughter's 20, and her kids she played with are still my kids. So certainly the ones that they're in that position, you reach out to them. I know on Facebook I spoke to a few kids, parents and so forth on the baseball side, and in fact, Yellow Springs baseball coach is a really good friend of ours, and he's got a son that plays, but not a senior, but he's got some seniors. And I spoke to him a little bit about it and how he's reached out to those kids. And yeah, we got a tennis girl, our only senior. She's been every sport there is, and she missed her tennis. She got foot surgery early in basketball season so she could come to the end of basketball season and still play tennis. And now she's missing that season as a senior. And so yeah, we've reached out to them and kind of said, and a few years from now, when you're into your college life and doing your thing, that stuff's not even going to be as big an issue as it is now. Trying to carry that through. We've all, at our ages, we've, seen so much and been through so much that we realize stuff that happened 2 years ago. We don't even remember.
Yeah, for sure. How did your high school team do this year?
Basketball wise, we ended up going 18-5. Probably the most wins in quite some time at our school. And really, we're in a really tough bracket, in our tournament draw with Tri-Village and those teams up there. 11 teams up there, 2 or 3 of them are the top 10, 12 in the state in Division IV. So we're kind of in a tough role there. And we're young. I mean, we got one senior. She played 7-8 games maybe. Only 6-footer, but she only played the back end of the season. Everybody else is coming back. We started freshmen, 2 sophomores, and 2 juniors. So, we're in pretty good shape. Best season I've been around at the high school level. Been here 4 years, so it was a great year for us.
Yeah, I was going to say you've been there 4 years, and each year you continue to get better. Who's I'm drawing a blank with the girl that is it the guard?
Yeah, Angelina Smith. She's 1,000-point scorer as a sophomore. Yeah, she's that makes things a little easier for us. Now, the funny thing was she's a point guard in the spring. She plays for the Angels. She's a point guard, averages about 6 points a game. So we get her in the gym, and all of a sudden she's not only a point guard, she's an all guard. So we got to kind of had to change her mindset. Every season we start, she's still in passing mode, and for us, that's not really where we need you at.
Yeah, kind of different roles from the Angels program, which they're, if you don't know, they're really good program that goes around the country and plays with the top kids. So I'm sure that's helping her as well. But she kind of changes roles in the high school level into a scorer then. Well, obviously, if she scored 1,000 points in 2 years, she knows how to put it in home.
Well, she said her, because as a freshman, her free throws made would have been top 15 in the state in history for a season. That's how many times she went to the line. So, what she did was took her ball handling skills and used those to initiate contact. She's not the greatest shooter yet. And it's, shooting off the bounce isn't so easy anyway. But she's learned how to use those, those ball handling skills to create her shots and get herself to the line. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a nice thing to see. She's been in my gym with us since she's about a kindergartner, because her sister played with my daughter since 4th grade in AAU, and her sister was 1,600 point scorer there. So,
Wow.
so we've been around her. She was an annoying little kindergartner, and now she carries our program. It's kind of neat to see. And this is the first year that we're finally getting our kids all the way through our system from 7th grade on, and we're seeing a huge difference. It makes things easier, man, than having to retrain every single year they come in.
Your son's assistant coach with you?
Yeah, he's an assistant. He, looking forward to him taking that program next level, maybe me being his assistant. But, that's I think that's where we need to go. I mean, the energy and the basketball knowledge that he carries at this young age, man. And he does most of our training anyway in the summer. When we call timeouts, he pretty much draws our plays up. I'll be honest with you. So, yeah, we look forward to him taking that over, and I'll kind of slide down the bench a spot or two.
Yeah, I know Nick from seeing him on the sideline in GBA, and he's got some fire and intensity to him. You can tell he's very, very passionate about the game, and like you said, it's always good to have somebody on your bench that has that knowledge and that passion that kind of gets that fire going with those kids.
Well, and he has the teaching ability. He teaches 4th grade.
Oh,
If
wow.
you have the patience for 4th graders, high school girls, you're in the perfect mold, So for me, that's the two things he's got that I never had.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, from your standpoint, I can tell you from someone, and John can tell you as well, someone that's been a head coach and an assistant coach, it's amazing how much smarter you get when you move down a couple of chairs than when you're sitting in the main chair, because you're not trying to watch everything at one time. You can see things a lot clearer.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, we took a middle school team on about 5 years ago, and I let him run that, and I sat down as one and only had to run the offense. And, man, not only was it easier, but it was more enjoyable to watch the game. I'm just making adjustments on one end, man. I can sit back and watch, and then best part is, man, I can get in the car and I can critique him versus the opposite. Blame it all on him. So, yeah, I think for me it'll be great. It'd just be great to sit back and kind of not have as much pressure, from that end, yet still be involved. And he runs 80-90% of what we do. So for me, it'll be pretty cool.
Let's transition over to the Ohio Stars program. Are your coaches itching to get in the gym? They're itching to play, and just how many teams will you have this year in the girls? And
I think we're probably between 15 or so on the girls' side. And I don't, I've been in contact through, text messages and so forth. And it sounds to me like on both sides, no one's gone anywhere. In other words, our teams are still intact and ready to go, just waiting. I get a call every now and then about gym, and I'm like, nah, I'm not opening it up. Even if you're going by yourself, I'm not okay with that, because you're not there to police it, and it's just not worth it at this point. But as soon as we get to okay, we're ready to go. I see Tommy on there. Yeah. All the girls' side, Tommy pretty much handles 8th grade on down, and he's been in contact with most of those teams as well. And yeah, we're ready to go.
Yeah, it's funny. It's hard. We're just in a transition right now. We don't know. We have some different schedules set up, but we just don't want to release it yet and then have to change things. So we're kind of just waiting. But we do have some stuff in June and July that we could do. And then we also are even looking, and depending on what happens there, when the gyms open up, and then even in the fall months as well. So we'll have opportunities along with some of the other exposure events and some of the other things they want to do. But the GBA will definitely have some options. It's just kind of getting everybody together, see what works best, and then trying to make it work for everybody.
Well, yeah, and you'll certainly get, our teams, again, are chomping at the bit. And as many teams as we can get in, as many in a row. I'm just letting our coaches know, like, don't look at taking anything off. Once we get live, man, you got to go. Like, let's get these kids playing.
Yeah, and the thing is, you guys are lucky because you have the gym space there with Bales Arena right there, and that's going to be one of our spots because it's privately owned and we could get in there. It's not a college or a high school, so there's a different rule set with that place there, and then Kingdom as well in the Dayton area, and then you got Ronnie's place. Ronnie Grandison just built a brand new 6-court facility, so he hasn't had 1 or 2 events there, maybe max. So he built a brand new 6-court facility along with Sports Plus and Courts for Sports, and there's a couple other new ones coming into Cincinnati. So there'll be plenty of places to play, I think, in Dayton, Cincinnati area, and we're working on Columbus as well. So.
Yeah, like I said, our teams are, we're waiting. We're good. We haven't lost anybody and lost any teams. And, as soon as you give us the word, get us, you guys, I'm sure the first few weekends, it's going to be crazy once we get, back live, because I think everyone's going to just be, running into getting anywhere they can get. But, yeah, I would expect our facility to have 4 or 5, tournaments,
that
we open up.
Yeah, and that's a hidden gem. That's a beautiful place. Brand new courts in there. Wish there was more courts, but the 4 courts they have is great.
We could use more. We started with 1 at our old facility and got 4 here, and we could use another 4. I'm with you.
And I got to tell you, that's probably the best concessions at any GBA tournament.
Especially when we have Chick-fil-A there. Yeah.
Chick-fil-A is there. Yeah. I think between my guys, I think they ran up a pretty good bill. And just for the people that's listening, Tim's in charge of the concessions there, or Bert in charge of the concessions, so that's why we said that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Tim,
go ahead, John.
Yeah, just to kind of rebounding off of what you said about your program and your teams, Rich. And I know, we've been in the High Stars program is one of our top programs that play in GBA, and we appreciate all the support over the years. And talking to some of those other top groups, they're in the same boat. They're all itching to play, and it seems like just as you said, that you're telling your coaches, hey, when it opens up, get out and play. And that's sort of at least what we're hearing on our end. At least with the younger groups. That's sort of their same philosophy and same ideas. As they as soon as it's open and can play, they want to play every weekend.
Yeah, even with those older groups, we don't want to waste a year of those kids getting to have the fun, man.
Right.
My coach were questioning about practice, and I'm going, you know what? We get live, we're in. Like, we'll worry about practice later, man. Let these kids play.
Right.
The older ones as well, because those kids are missing out on one of their last years or next to last year's they're going to have out there, and so. I don't care, I don't care if we don't practice at all first tournament, man. Let's just go play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's kind of a mutual feeling across the board there with everybody. They just want to get out and play.
Yeah, but stuff like this really helps too, you guys, man, because it keeps people from morale up, realizing there is a chance that, we're going to get on the court and get a chance to play. And it helps us when we're talking to our coaches and players, when they see this kind of thing, they see it's not just us telling them. You guys are out there on the front end saying, hey, we got places ready to go, the organization. We much appreciate what you guys do for the basketball community and probably help us, in our program, at least probably help us with half our teams, double our program just because of your guys' program and giving us a place to play, close. You don't have to have the big travel for some of our teams.
Well, we definitely appreciate that. And it's, we don't realize how lucky we have it, and to be able to have these teams play and us have all these tournaments and all that stuff. So hopefully, as long as the governor and the president and everything says we're good, as soon as they do, then we'll start putting things together and trying to make it happen. Our only issue is we're a little worried that if we usually have 3 tournaments a weekend, we're probably going to go down maybe to 1 tournament a weekend. So we got to make sure that we get, it's going to be, it may be, it's going to be a little tougher, and the teams will fill up faster than normal, which, it's going to be kind of hard. So we're trying to get a feel for all the teams, how many of them are still wanting to play. And from what we're talking to everybody's like, they're kind of on hold, ready to go. So they don't want to miss out on the season. So, which is a good thing, but we just got to make sure we got enough room to take them in, especially the teams that are, that play in our program. And like you're one of the top 20 teams, we got to have space, to get the kids into play. So.
Yeah, that's it, man. Anything you need from us on any end with, our facility, or you got a tournament that you need teams at, just reach out, man. We're well ready to work with you. We just want to play, get these kids playing.
Yeah, we just wanted to bring you on. We're just trying to grab everybody for a few minutes, jump online, see how you guys are doing, see how the program's doing. And if you have anything to plug about your program, feel free to do that. And then hopefully here in the next couple of weeks to a month or how soon we can, we'll get back on the court.
Yeah, one thing I have to say about our program is, we pretty much got gym space at the same location. You don't have to drive all over worrying about, this location is not open today, not open tomorrow. We've got that. We've got, teams about all abilities. We've got one high school team that's, they're a 10th grade team, and they're a force to be reckoned with. We got some developmental teams as well that are still getting a lot of gym time, getting with good coaches. So I just tell parents, I think I saw Steve Rowe on here. It's funny because Steve Rowe's child came out for me back in about 4th or 5th grade, and she had just started playing basketball, and I had a bunch of guards, and she was kind of the back end of my team, so she went and played somewhere else, and Mariah became one of the best high school players in the area. Just because in 4th and 5th grade she hadn't played as much as some of the other girls, but she surpassed probably all the guards I kept ahead of her, in 4th and 5th grade. So I just tell parents, man, let your kids come out and play. Get them at the level they need to play at. Don't worry about the name of the team. Don't worry about the program itself. Just get your kid out to play in the younger grades and let them develop. You don't know what they're going to be height-wise, athleticism, and how hard they work. Mariah Rowe worked harder probably than any player I've ever been around. I would have taken her from 9th grade on, but I couldn't get her back. That I just use her as probably, one of the faces, that things that I learned through coaching was like, you can't always, that one player that's a one dribble better, look back on and figure out who's going to work harder, and who really wants to play. So I learned a lot from that. But just telling parents, man, get your kid out there somewhere. I don't care. In my program, any program, just get them out there.
Right. And that's a credit for you to say that and talk about that. And, and say that, and it is so true. When we was coaching, you don't know from, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade when you're coaching who's going to end up developing and working hard. And that's why we started the GBA, because there wasn't a lot of tournaments 20 years ago. You played in the AAU regionals or the states, and then whoever got to go experience some of this stuff that we're doing. And now we have so many tournaments, and you got Katie Smith coming and talking to the girls, Brandy Hoskins, coming and talking to the girls, and we do the tournament for Lauren Hill, and then our nationals, and they get to experience Gym Basketball Jones, and then the Kings Island thing that we're doing, and we was really excited to tie in with Cedar Point this year as well. So there's so many things, and we was gearing up the way the entries was coming in. And we filled up 80% of our tournaments last year, and they was coming in better this year, I think, than any year in the past. So we was really excited to get some tournaments back and play on the college campuses. There's so many things that you hear from Coach Jeffers at Capital. A girl that maybe went on campus and played, fell in love with the campus, wanted to play there. Michelle Duran, who just retired at Ohio Northern, he said, they've got 2 or 3 different girls just from the GBA coming there. And seeing girls from Pennsylvania, somewhere else, would have never known where Ada, Ohio was, but got to come on campus and liked it. And so, it means a lot. So we're excited about that. And but you're exactly right, going back to not knowing the kids and getting out and playing in tournaments and playing every weekend to get better. That's where it's at.
Yes, sir, man. Just have fun with it too. You're only young once, brother. Where was this at when we were growing up?
That's right.
Well, I tell you, as much as you've done for the program, for the Ohio Stars, we appreciate it. You're one of our favorites, and we like coming to see you there. And we look forward to seeing you soon.
We'll see you on the court soon, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tim. Thanks for joining us today. Stay safe.
Good seeing you, Tim.
Thanks. Have a good day.